Well, welcome everybody. Today's webinar by eClass for Learning is on creating user tours, which I think is a lot of fun. So I'm glad so many of you signed up for this. My name is Dr. Tammy Frame. I'm the Chief Education Officer at eClass for Learning. This is my contact information. I am recording the webinar, so everybody that signed up will get a link with the recording so you can refer back to it. If you were unable to come today and you didn't get to ask some questions that you have, feel free to email those to me and I'll be happy to answer them. eClass for Learning is a full solution e-learning provider. We do lots of things to help clients with e-learning. So we support several different kinds of LMSs. We can help develop courses. We do a lot of onboarding and support. So if you're new to Moodle or Totara and you need help with that, we would be happy to talk to you. We help with e-commerce solutions. If you're trying to sell your courses, we can host your LMS solutions. If we don't host them, we can still help with technical support. We do that for some clients as well. We can help market your e-learning courses and give you some strategies to do that. And we also provide training on different platforms that we provide. So today is a free training on the user tours. We are using Zoom, so feel free to put any questions that you have in the chat. I really welcome those. I think it's a lot more fun when people ask questions. And if I don't know, I'll research it and send it out to the whole group after the webinar as well. Okay, with that, we will get started. And I'm going to minimize this and talk just a little bit about the user tours. So if you're not sure what a user tour is, it gives you a visual step-by-step guide of your Moodle site. And you can download ready-made ones, and we're going to start with those. And then you can also create your own, and I'll show you how to do that as well. This works in Moodle 3.2 and above. It also works in Totara 10 and above. And where they tuck these away is a little bit different in both platforms. So right now I'm using the Boost theme in Moodle 3.3. And if I wanted to find it in Moodle, in this theme, I go to Site Admin, which is tucked over here. I would go to Appearance and User Tours, and that's how I get to it. Now, if I were in Totara 10, how I get to it is slightly different. You go to Site Admin, and it's tucked under Development, Experimental, and then User Tours. And it works pretty much the same in both platforms. Okay, so I'll be demoing in Moodle today, but the only difference is how you get to them pretty much. So I have kind of 4 user tours that we're going to kind of look at real quickly. The first 3 are downloaded. So there's one for the administrator showing them this new Boost theme from the site home. So we'll do that one real quickly so you can kind of see what a user tour looks like. There's one for a teacher at the course view. So that's kind of interesting that you can have different tours for different roles in your system. Then I'll show one at the activity level where there's a tour that I downloaded for people the first time that they make a quiz, okay? And then we'll make one live where we make, I already made a practice one, but I have it not enabled right now, where I do a little overview of one of my courses, and I'll make that from scratch live, and we'll go through that one too. So if you want to upload an existing one, and a lot of these will work in Totara. Obviously, the Boost theme isn't a Totara theme, so then that one isn't going to work for you. But a lot of the things are common in wood. You can go to the tour repository. When you open that up, let's see, there are all kinds of tours that people have made and shared. It's a good idea to download some of these and upload, and you just click import tour. They come as a zip file, to learn and to look at them, and how they work a little bit. And maybe later, if you have some questions, I can show you a little bit later some of the syntax of how they got some of these things in there, and you can learn quite a bit by looking at ready-made ones. Okay, so let's just see what a user tour is and how it works. Let's go to the site home. I'm in as an admin, and the tours are set so that the first time you do something, they'll show up automatically. Now, I practiced before this webinar, so now it doesn't show up. But if you want to see a tour again, in the footer of where that tour appears, you can reset it with a little link. So in this one of the settings that you'll see when we create ours is you can make the backdrop grayed out and make the part of the tour that you have be the highlight or the feature. And so it says, welcome, I'm going to tell you about the boost theme. And I go to next, and now it's showing me the navigation. And we can go to next, and now it's going to tell me how I can customize the look and the feel of the front page. Okay, and then now it's saying that's the end of the tour, and I can click end tour, and that's a really quick example. Let's do another one, and this time I am an instructor in this course that I created, and there was also a tour that I downloaded for the boost for the course, for a teacher, of what's new in the theme for the course instructor. So this one also has the backdrop grayed out, and it just kind of shows me how I can customize my course, where my nav bar is, where I can find my course participants, how I can add a block, and then end the tour. So that was another one that I downloaded as an example. Now let's just do one other real quick one. If I turn the editing on, this one is an activity, and it's for people that maybe the first time in a course that they're creating a quiz. So if I go to add an activity or resource, and I go to quiz, and I click add. Okay, now again, I was practicing, so I have to reset my tour. And it says, we're going to show you some elements for setting up a quiz. Okay, so it says, in the general area, you can set up the name, description, and display. Here's some things about timing that I can read, grading, and it goes through each of the different configuration areas and kind of explains what my options are there. And at any time, I can end the tour and create my quiz. So those are three very good examples of how you might use a user tour, or the types of user tours that are available for download. I'm going to cancel adding this quiz. I really don't need to do that. And let's go back and make a user tour from scratch. Okay, then have some fun. Whoops. And then, so again, I go to Site Admin, Appearance, and User Tours. So I go Create New Tour, and I'll name this. And I'll name it My Course Overview. Right now, my tour is not enabled, because if there were live people on the site, they'd see it. Usually we do that at the end. Also, we have another potential tour on this same course page that we looked at before. So we'll want to disable that one and enable this one when we're ready. Okay. Tour of my course. Now, the first thing that you have to do is you have to say where this is going to appear. And so I already ahead of time got the URL for the course that I want to make my tour for, and I'll just paste that in here. When I was first trying to teach myself, I put in the whole URL with the HTTPS www eClass for Learning. It just wants the end part, okay, not the eClass for Learning courses after there, whatever it would be. And I'll show that in a minute where I grabbed that from. But you don't put the whole URL, then it doesn't work. Then I decide if my dialog box will be below, above, or to the left, or to the right. And some of the documentation I read said usually below or above looks best. I did try a left and a right once. Sometimes the dialog box was a little off the screen and I had to scroll. So I kind of agree that above or below you might have more success with. Now it's saying if it can't find the target for where you want that thing to appear, and that'll make more sense when we make each part of the tour, do you want to show the dialog box anyway? And the default is no. I kind of agree with that. You know, if you had a feature and if for some reason you didn't put the right CSS selector in there, it might not make sense. So I'm just going to have it skip it. Do I want a backdrop? We could try that. Do we want it to proceed whenever you click on it? I usually leave it as the default no. Then I have the next, and tour buttons, okay? If not, we could just click on it and it could go on, so that's a preference. So then this is where you can decide if everybody's going to see the tour or just a certain role on your site. And then you could say, is this for all themes? Because obviously the Boost one wouldn't have worked on the clean theme or the more theme. So for me, this will work on all themes, okay? And then I'm going to hit Save Changes. All right, so here's my tour. And now I click on it, a little like a quiz to get started. So those were kind of the general settings. Now we have to add the steps. And so I'm going to click on New Step. And I have these different target types, block, selector, and display middle of the page. And I'm going to show all three of these one at a time. So I'll start with display in the middle of the page. So then these things are grayed out. And then I have to have a title of it. And I'll put welcome. And then I'll put welcome to my course. This is a brief tour to orientate you. Let's just look under options. Show with backdrop, yes. Okay. And this is, I guess, what I had picked in the previous one. Okay. Save. All right. Now let's do a new step. And this time we'll do a block. And I would say that display in the middle of the page and block were the easy ones. And if you're new to this, for your first one, you might just want to stick to those two because they were pretty easy. And so it brings up all of my blocks that I could choose from. I have a latest badges block. So I'm going to say that I want a dialog box right below there pointing to that. And I'll call this latest badges. And then in here, I'll put this block shows you the badges you have earned. Okay, and if there's, I think these are all the things that I picked before. So we're going to go to Save Changes. New step. This is the tougher one. This is the selector, and they mean by CSS selector. And I'm going to show you where you can find what goes in here. I want them to show a part where I have my contact information, and I went ahead and I found out what that piece is called. And I'll show you how I got it in just a minute. We'll go in the course and I'll show you in a bit. And so that's going to be the place, basically, with CSS where I want my box to appear. And so I'll put instructor contact info. And I'll put this has information about the instructor and save changes. Okay. Now, let's go back to my user tours. As I said before, this one, when they have these parentheses or these percentage signs, kind of learned by looking at other ones, it means anywhere. So anywhere that there's a new course view, this one would play. But mine shows that I have a very specific course. I have a feeling that if both of these were open, they would conflict, and they talk about that on the Moodle docs. So you can only kind of have one user tour running at a time. The other ones are fine because this one is on the front page. This is anytime we add a quiz, and this one I have disabled, so I should be good. All right, let's go and test it out and see if I can get it to work. Cross my fingers. And we'll go to the course that I picked out. And let's see if, oh, it did. It just needed a second here. Welcome to my course. This is a brief tour to orientate you. Latest badges, all right. And then, something went wrong with my last one because I didn't get the next one. So how did I do these pieces? So when it asked for my course, I just grabbed this part up here, courses view. When I grabbed the whole URL, it didn't work. Oh, and I had to grab, I should mention this slash. So slash course view and the number. So that's how I got it to work just on this course. When I wanted this area, and I'll have to go back and troubleshoot later why, and we can look at my working one and see if we see any difference. I right-clicked on it and I went to inspect. And then this shows me, interesting, oh, right down here, instance, the pound symbol is what you're looking for, instance slash 1223 slash header.card slash title. And I actually copied that and put it in a Word doc, and then that's what I copied in for my CSC selector. And I didn't use the H3, I just went from the pound symbol on. So that's how you can find where things are and what they're called, and put those into your CSS selectors. Let's just look at my working one real quick and see if we see any differences to see why my last selector didn't work out. And appearance, I'll get rid of this, and we'll go down to user tour. And let's just look at this one and see, because I did have that one working. Okay, that all looks good. Let's just look at my steps. Header.card title. That looks right, but I must have made some error in my cut and paste, or maybe I didn't have this one quote around it. Maybe that made the difference. Again, having working ones that you can download and look at really help. So that's about all that there really is to user tours. I'm going to check and see if you have any questions, if anybody's, and Q&A. Oh, we have no questions. Okay. If you think of some, let me know. In the meantime, I will show you what webinars are coming up that you might be interested. If you go to eclassforlearning.com and then click on our webinar page or / upcoming webinars, we have, if you're a Moodle user, we're going to talk about competency-based education. That was one that we had done in the past that was really popular and a lot of people keep coming back to, so we thought it would be good to do again. That'll be in January in the new year. And then we're going to do what's new in Moodle 3.3. And over the holiday break, a lot of our clients are upgrading to 3.3. So we're excited to show what's new. If you have ideas of things that you'd like to see future webinars on, please email me. We're always looking for ideas. And with that, if no one has any questions, if you think of some, feel free to email me. I will send you the link. I'll send you some other links too that might be helpful when you're just getting started with user tours. Okay, so here's a question. Those of us from RTC would like to create something for students who have never taken a course. So a user tour would be awesome. And there are some nice ones for a new course or new student, or you can create your own. And you could show what the different blocks are and explain, so that would be good. I also think sometimes doing a screencast and orientating, I usually do that in my classes where I actually have a little video. Maybe I'm talking at the beginning so they get to know me and see me as a human. And then I do a screencast just walking them through the course and upload that. That's great. And then James, you asked if you're upgrading. I can ask Seth what he does with our clients. We don't do an automatic upgrade of every client. We contact them separately and see if they want to upgrade. And we kind of review their site, because sometimes if you have a custom theme or custom plugins, some things might be tricky, and we just want you to know that and make an informed decision before we upgrade you. We also like to do it between the holidays is a really good time because a lot of people are off, and we do those often in the middle of the night. So now is a good time, and Seth should have contacted every client to see if they want an upgrade. And if he hasn't done that, I will ask him to double check with you. But yeah, if you're not sure if you're upgrading, it would only be if you scheduled it with Seth, so you would probably know. And you're welcome, if you're a client, to schedule one. Now's a really good time because a lot of people are off. So, any other questions? Great. Okay. Thanks much, everybody, and we hope to see you on future webinars.